white-collar crime. All right. So the private sector also has a role to play in this, just as we as individuals have a role to play with this. Gathara, during the short break, you said that if we, as the people, if we wanted to have our voices, and if we were, I don't want to say angry, but if we were passionate enough about asking for the system to be changed, to be rectified, we would do so. So even us as Kenyans, as individuals, we do have a role to play, quite a critical one.
Well, we do, but I think, again, we've got to understand what that role is. You know, in the bribery index, again, one of the two amazing statistics that came out of it, and this was just, it's basically a survey. The bribery index is a survey of perceptions of corruption, again, I mean, amongst ordinary people, you know. And it's interesting that 55% of Kenyans were saying they couldn't do anything about corruption, you know. And another statistic I found interesting was only 2%, when they were asked what could be done against corruption, only 2% said that accountability and transparency in government processes is important. Only 2%.
2%. And another 25% say that they can't do
Everybody else is saying prosecute people, arrest people. You know, that's what we think is fighting corruption, not fixing the problem. Now, for us as individuals, I think our role really is to hold the system to account. It is, in the end, it should be accountable to us, you know, and it is by our insistence that things should work, that changes should be made, reforms should be made. We should take a lesson from what happened in the 90s, especially with the constitution review process. This was not a process where we went and we started begging Moi, you know, start making, you know, moves towards reforming the constitution. No. We took it upon ourselves and we insisted and pushed, and people were marching on the streets, etc., till it actually happened. And I think it's the same way we should focus on changing the structures that, on which our corruption is run. So we have situations such as we saw in NYS, where people are implicated, and then there is this political, the politicians jump in and they start protecting the people they think are on their side, you know. So people like Anwaiguru are being protected by Jubilee and are being seen as being attacked by NASA or by CORD as it was then. But the point is, for you as the citizen, your interest is not in the fight between Jubilee and NASA. Those are just the politicians' interests. Why should you be part of that fight? You know, your interest is, has my money been stolen? Can it be accounted for? And in insisting on that sort of accountability, show us where that money is, you know, and stuff. That's how we hold it to account. It's not by being entrapped in the games that politicians play. When we see them going after the EACC every time it looks like it's willing to do its job, our job as citizens is to protect that EACC. You know, we stand with it and we say, no, politician, you cannot do this. You cannot say this. And we make the politicians pay a price. You know, and paying a price is not waiting for 5 years at election time. You hold the system to account every day. You stand up, you write a letter to your newspaper, you write a letter to your MP, you make noise on Twitter, you go out onto the streets. That is how you hold the system to account. This idea that let's wait 5 years and then we will vote people in, we've tried it every year since the 60s.
Right.
We've tried it. We've waited 5 years. We waited till Moi went, and we voted in Kibaki on an anti-corruption platform. What happened? Doesn't work. You've got to hold the system to account on an everyday basis. You've got to have your voice heard every day, and that's how you actually fight corruption.